The campus heartthrob handed me a can of 8 treasure porridge. I turned around and gave it to an intellectually disabled homeless man. Because I've been reborn. In my past life, I was tied to a system by this campus heartthrob. He could steal my test scores through the 8 treasure porridge. His grades skyrocketed all the way. He got a special admission offer from a top university before graduation. He lived the high life as the straight-A campus heartthrob. But I went from being a widely recognized top student to the most infamous underachiever in the whole school, until I was pushed into a river and drowned by someone he hired. Now that I'm alive again, since he wants to trade for grades so bad, I'll let him get his fill of trading. During the morning exercise break, the campus heartthrob Zhuang Hua set a can of 8 treasure porridge in front of me. He looked at me with a concerned expression, urging me to drink it quickly. Before I could even say anything, sharp, mocking comments from my classmates started popping up all around me. Every single one of them was singing praises of Zhuang Hua for being kind and a top student. When they talked about me, they said I didn't know how lucky I was to have such an excellent friend like him. Some classmates even openly badmouthed me over how my grades had plummeted. They even made up false accusations against me, claiming that I single-handedly dragged down the entire class's average score. Others complained that I didn't study hard enough. When Zhuang Hua heard all these comments, he didn't step up to defend me. A flicker of pride even flashed across his eyes. He pushed the can of 8 treasure porridge closer to my hand and said dramatically, "Rameng, I went through so much trouble to buy this 8 treasure porridge for you. Don't just stand there staring. Drink it while it's still warm. Back in my past life, I would have been super grateful and thought Zhuang Hua was the friend who cared about me most. But now that I've died once, I know the truth. This so-called good friend of mine has been using the system to steal my grades this whole time. He went from a totally average guy when we first enrolled to the super popular straight-A campus heartthrob he is now. While my grades dropped off a cliff, I zone out constantly in class. I can't even remember the simplest formulas. I make non-stop mistakes when doing exercises. My rank dropped straight to the bottom of the whole grade. Under those circumstances, I fell into endless cycles of self-loathing. What I didn't expect was that my classmates were all manipulated by Zhuang Hua behind my back. So they all hated and isolated me. I looked up at Zhuang Hua with a cold sneer. "Zhuang Hua, didn't you hear what everyone's saying? They're all telling me to study hard. I can't afford to embarrass myself like that. Drinking this 8 treasure porridge would waste my study time, so I'm not going to drink it. But your kind gesture shouldn't go to waste. If any of you classmates want this, come get it right now." As soon as I said that, lots of girls in the class who had crushes on Zhuang Hua lit up immediately and crowded over right away. When Zhuang Hua saw this, his face darkened instantly. He screamed loudly, "No! This is for Ruin Meng." Just then, a chubby guy with the worst grades in the grade pushed through the crowd. He was practically drooling, mumbling that it shouldn't go to waste. He wanted to take the 8 treasure porridge for himself, to eat as his breakfast. Zhuang Hua was so mad he couldn't speak. He knew this guy had the lowest grades in the whole grade. His face turned red with anxiety. Every cell in his body was screaming in protest. Looking at how he was acting, a bold idea popped into my head. Maybe if someone else drinks this can of 8 treasure porridge, the exchange system will still work. Just then, Zhuang Hua faked a hurt look and his eyes turned red. He raised his voice even louder. "Rameng, you don't have to drink the 8 treasure porridge, but why are you trampling on my sincere feelings like this? I was being nice and caring about you, so I bought you this porridge to get some nutrition. But you just gave my gift to someone else right away. You're breaking my heart. How are you any different from the snake? In the farmer and the snake fable, the classmates who were fighting over the porridge just now all froze immediately. They looked at each other awkwardly, not knowing what to do. Finally, they all turned their anger towards me. They threatened me to apologize to Zhuang Hua right away, or they'd beat me up. All of them raised their fists, ready to pounce. Right at that moment, down the hallway suddenly came a line of uniformed student council members. The girl leading them had long, dark hair, almond eyes, and delicate eyebrows. I recognized her immediately. She was the one who tied with me for first place on the campus top student list when we enrolled, Campus Belgian Taoyuan. When she first saw me before, she was impressed by my excellent grades and thought highly of me. It was her best friend who tapped her from behind to remind her, so she looked away. After the event ended that day, she waited for me for ages, wanted to share study methods with me, but Shuohua deliberately stopped me. Now Zhen Taoyan walks under everyone's gaze and enters our classroom with other team members. Zhen Taoyan's voice is as clear as crushed ice. Every word she says makes all the boys sitting below cover their mouths excitedly with racing hearts. The school-wide academic contest will be held in about 2 weeks. The final winners will have the chance to get direct admission spots to top universities. Interested students can sign up now? Give me an application form, please. Zhuanghua stood up right away, putting on his most charming smile, walking confidently up to Zhen Taoyan. He deliberately leans forward to brush against her on purpose. Zhen Taoyan freezes for a second and steps back 2 paces instinctively. But Zhuanghua lifts his deep dark eyes and looks at Zhen Taoyan feigning innocence, saying he doesn't understand the contest rules, and asks her to teach him in person. Zhen Taoyan feels his stare on her. Her face flushes for a moment, and she nods while pressing her lips. After Zhen Taoyan and her group leave, the class finally snaps out of their shock and starts chattering heatedly. Hey, did you hear that? Oh, it's so unfair. She always tops the whole grade. Whoever gets together with her will definitely have their grades skyrocket. Oh my God. I'm so excited I could scream. I heard her family is super rich too. A chauffeur drives her to and from school in a Rolls Royce. She's also the campus belle and a straight-A student. Not just the dream girl of millions of guys, but also a pure genius level top student. I really want to date her and go to the same college as her. I listened to all these chats and raised an eyebrow in disdain. I just saw him chase after Zhen Taoyan after she left and got her contact information. Just then, Zhuanghua picks up his workbook and flips through it, then looks down at his mock exam paper scores. Seems like his math score isn't high enough, and he got too many wrong answers on the English reading section. I have to get that direct admission spot and make Zhen Taoyan take the initiative to date me. Shuohua mumbles to himself, then suddenly lifts his head and looks at me. Right then, the class bell rings. He quickly reminds me again to make sure I drink that can of 8 treasure porridge, then hurries back to his own seat. I agree with a smile, then turn to look out the window. There's a figure rummaging through the trash can. It's a homeless man. His eyes look surprisingly wise. His mouth and eyes are crooked, and he often drools. His face is covered with dark spots. This homeless man was in a car accident before, which damaged his brain. Everyone feels bad for him, so they allow him to come to the school to rummage through unwanted household trash. I figure he has low intelligence now and must want to get smarter too. So after school I find that homeless man and hand him the 8 treasure porridge and a bread. He takes them and immediately gobbles them all down ravenously. I turn around to leave, but the homeless man calls out to stop me. I turn back, and a bunch of crumpled change is pressed into my hand. Little kid, take this money, please. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry. This is all the money I have. The homeless man fumbles in his pockets frantically and grins at me widely. Something tugs at my heart suddenly. It's been so long since anyone has thanked me sincerely for my kindness. I take out 200 wen without saying a word and force it into his hand, then run away as fast as I can. I end up at the pavilion behind the school without realizing it. Suddenly my mind feels so much clearer. All the formulas I couldn't memorize before are suddenly clear in my head. I take out my old mistake notebook and flip through it, and am shocked to find that the problem-solving logic I couldn't wrap my head around before makes perfect sense all of a sudden. I force down my overwhelming joy and head back to the classroom like nothing happened. When afternoon comes, I get to the classroom early to study. In my past life, my biggest regret was not being able to take part in the academic contest and missing the chance to get direct admission to a top university. Suddenly, there's a burst of screaming from the hallway. Zhuanghua, you're totally something. I just saw you come in with Zhen Taoyan, and you were discussing problems together. You only met each other this morning, right? I've never seen her talk about studies with a guy before. You two, are they going to prepare for the competition together? And looks like they're going to get together soon. All the students think Zhuanghua and Zhen Taoyan are a perfect match. One's the campus heartthrob and top student. The other's the campus belle and academic genius. They make such a good-looking, perfect pair. I can't help but sigh. Sure enough, Zhen Taoyan only judges people by their grades. Be it me before my grades were swapped, or Zuogu right now. The only thing she ever cares about is excellent grades, nothing more. Right now, Zhuanghuo's grinning with pride all over his face. He's not hiding his ambition at all. Campus heartthrob? That's nothing. I'm gonna get first place in this academic competition and get that guaranteed admission spot. And I'll definitely win over that annoying girl. No, she'll be the one to confess to me first. The next second, he came right up to me on purpose. He deliberately stressed every word when he spoke. We're in our prime youth, right? We should win all kinds of competition awards to make it worth it. What's the point of just rote learning and messing around? Grades are king in this society. I listened to all his words. My expression didn't change at all. I just focused even harder on solving the problems on my paper. Starting from that day, Zhuanghua focused all his priorities on getting close to Zhen Taoyan and prepping for the academic competition. He tried even harder to use the system to swap away my few remaining learning talents and academic advantages. He used the excuse of needing to nourish the brain for studying to give me 2 cans of 8 treasure porridge every morning. I accepted all of them without refusing, then gave them all to that homeless guy in private. Gradually, my mind got clearer and clearer. I quickly caught up on all the knowledge points I missed before. My accuracy when solving problems also improved a lot. When my classmates asked me in surprise, I just lowered my head and said that I have been focusing on studying lately and stay up late doing exercises in the classroom every night. After school ended this morning, I went to the bookstore outside the campus to buy the latest competition exercise book on the market, but someone suddenly pushed me hard from behind. I almost lost my balance and fell to the ground. Zhuanghua was standing with Zhen Taoyan right then. Zhen Taoyan was looking at him with loving eyes. When she turned to look at me, her gaze was full of obvious disgust. Zhuanghua looked me up and down, wondering why I've been burying myself in studying lately, and always avoiding him. He immediately tried to snatch my exercise book to see what exactly I was studying. I dodged quickly and stepped back 2 paces. He didn't get what he wanted. His expression froze for a second, but then he ignored all the people around and deliberately said loudly, "Cold, have you suddenly started studying hard lately? I see you doing exercises every day. Don't tell me your grades have improved a little. How are you doing it? Share your tips with us, won't you? I've been spending so much time discussing problems with Zhen Taoyan lately that I've overworked my brain. I've started making mistakes when doing problems now. I'm really worried about it." Zhuanghua wasn't lying. His problem-solving accuracy had dropped significantly. He even started mixing up basic knowledge points. It's just that Zhen Taoyan still had that top student filter for him, so she didn't notice it. I followed his lead and said, confirming that he was indeed making mistakes, and advising him to work more on his basics and stop using petty tricks. Then I planned to go somewhere else, to look for the competition exercise book I wanted. Then Zhen Taoyan, who had been quiet all this time, suddenly spoke up. "Renmeng, you always target Zhuanghua in private. And now in front of all these people, you even dare to embarrass him. Do you even know what manners are? Apologize to Zhuohu right now." As the president of the student union, Zhen Taoyan was always known for having a good temper. I was stunned. I spoke with difficulty. "I'm targeting him. When did I ever target him? Why would I apologize? It's all a misunderstanding, all a misunderstanding. Renmeng and I are good friends. There's no way she's jealous of me. Why would she target me? All the stuff before must have been misunderstandings." He leaned closely against Zhen Taoyan, and Zhen Taoyan put her arm around him naturally. "Renmeng, that's enough of you. You're just jealous that Zhuanghua has good grades and is about to get the guaranteed admission spot, right? That's why you're attacking him with mean words now. He was kind enough to share study tips with you, but you snubbed him instead, and even instigated others to isolate him. How can you be so vicious? Huo, let's go. There's no need to argue with a bad student like her. You're just too nice. Renmeng not only has bad grades, but also has bad character." Annoying Jen stared at me. Her eyes were filled with deep disgust. They held hands and were about to walk away. I finally snapped back to my senses. I stepped right in front of them without holding back. "That's so ridiculous. You're mocking my grades, aren't you? Jerk. I hope you never forget what you said today. I never get jealous of anyone, 'cause I have total confidence in myself. I'm the best there is." Scattered laughter broke out around me, and I was so worked up in the moment that the competition workbook in my hand fell to the floor, exposing the densely written, problem-solving notes and full-score mock papers inside. Our eyes locked. Ugh, so annoying. He actually zoned out for a second. He moved his lips a little, but didn't say anything. and left with Zhuanghuo. In the afternoon, the whole class was still half asleep. When Zhuanghuo walked in carrying bags full of stuff, he wanted to hand out desserts to all the classmates. He deliberately mentioned each box of these desserts cost over 2,000 yuan. The students instantly woke up completely, banging on desks and screaming out loud, like they'd regressed to cavemen. A sharp-eyed girl noticed that Zhuanghuo was wearing a Rolex. Zhuanghuo took the initiative to introduce the 30,000 yuan watch. With a giddy, lovesick smile on his face, this 30,000 yuan watch is nothing really. Jen Taoyan and I only eat at 5-star restaurants now. Just the money we've spent on meals these days is way more than what this watch costs. Oh, right. Taoyan also said she's gonna get me a car pretty soon. Hearing Zhuanghuo call Jen Taoyan so intimately, the classmates all had teasing, suggestive looks on their faces. They all started teasing Zhuanghuo and Jen Taoyan, saying their wedding must be around the corner. They'll be the top student couple in the future and get recommended to prestigious universities together. Someone asked gossipingly when Zhuanghuo would team up with Jen Taoyan for the competition. He gave the person who spoke a disdainful glare and smiled without saying a word. Sokama is sure to hand a dessert to every single person, except for me. I knew he was doing it on purpose to embarrass me, but I didn't care about it at all. The results of last week's competition mock exam are coming out soon. What I'm more focused on right now is, after all this hard work I put in recently, what kind of rank I can get. I can buy all those desserts by myself in the future. When evening self-study started, the class monitor ran in with a long, miserable face. The results are out. The student council staff will post them outside the door soon. This mock exam was full of tough competition questions. My rank dropped so much, I might not even qualify for the first round of the competition. I don't deserve to be the class monitor anymore. The class monitor always got first place for sure before. Now, he couldn't help burying his head in his arms on the desk and crying. Everyone else was half terrified too. His close classmates tried to comfort him, but they all thought that if even the monitor did poorly this time, no one in the whole class could make it to the competition finals. The head teacher would probably be furious about it, but the monitor lifted his head through tears and told everyone, "No, we have a dark horse in our class this time." A few minutes later, someone in student council uniform appeared outside the window. Jen Taoyan, who stood out clearly in the crowd, stuck a score sheet on the wall. She stared at the sheet for a really long time. After they left, the students couldn't hold back anymore and rushed outside to check their own ranks. What no one expected was my name was right at the top of the list. And in the grade-wide ranking, I was also in first place. Second place went to Zen Taoyan. Before this, she had always been the number one in the whole grade. Starting from this day, Jen Taoyan started seeing me in a completely different light. She would pay extra attention to what I was up to. Even though we weren't friends on social media, for several days in a row, I saw her profile visit record on my page. When we passed each other in the hallway, I could clearly feel her eyes glued to me. Once we even ran into each other at the bike shed, I just rode my bike and left as fast as I could. Otherwise, it looked like she was going to come over to talk to me. Maybe it's because everyone is now putting all their energy into studying. The gossip about Jen Taoyan and Zhuanghuo gradually died down. At noon this day, after I gave the 8 treasure porridge to the homeless man, I went back to the dorm to sleep. When the alarm went off, I opened my eyes groggily. I grabbed a mock paper to work on. The next second I realized with excitement, my study state was fully back to normal. My thinking was sharp. I could remember everything I read. My problem-solving speed and accuracy were even better than before. My heart was beating so fast. I opened my phone with trembling fingers and filled out the entry form for the subject competition finals. It just so happened that today was the last day for sign-ups. Zhuanghuo, I'm gonna be there right at the moment you're most looking forward to watch you get completely crushed. I came to school in the afternoon. The second I walked into the classroom, I noticed my classmates were looking at me kinda weird. When I sat down at my seat, 2 rude comments popped up right behind me. They seemed to be talking about how I'm vicious. I had no idea what was going on. Suddenly, someone slammed a phone down in front of me. Turns out just at noon, someone posted a video on the campus forum, and it had already spread all over the school. It was the footage of Jen Taoyan defending Zhuanghuo and arguing with me that day. There was also an ugly photo of me looking ferocious. The caption said, "Expose. Our school's former top student Ruan Meng has always been jealous of her friend. She not only hurls insults at her constantly, but also creates misunderstandings over and over again. to make her friend get ostracized all the time. She knew full well her friend is dating the school belle genius, but she still tries to mess things up between them, even making the school belle genius angrily stand up for her friend. This caused a huge stir right away. The comment thread already has hundreds of replies, all insulting me. Who's Ruin Meng? I don't know her, but I know Zhen Taoyan. Everyone knows she has a super nice temper. If someone can make her this mad, that person must be really awful. Wait, does Ruan Meng have a crush on Zhen Taoyan? That's why she's even more jealous of her friend. It's so scary to be friends with someone like that, even though I'm super heartbroken to know. Zhen Taoyan already has a guy she likes. But I hate seeing people like her even more, who can't stand seeing others do well. Wait, isn't that Ruin Meng from our class? Ugh, does she not know how bad her grades are? That's so gross. I read all these comments with a blank face, then stood up directly and called the police. I told the police I was being framed, to let the law prove my innocence. The culprit Zhuang Huo was obviously panicking. He'd been zoning out all afternoon for no reason. He even got simple problems wrong, and got chewed out by every teacher so bad he didn't dare lift his head. The chaos only calmed down when the grade director showed up and stopped me from calling the police. After one class, I saw the post got quietly deleted, but almost the whole school already knew about it. Even people who don't know me now completely associate my name with the terms vicious and underachieving loser. After class, Zhen Taoyan actually came to our classroom. She was still as dazzling as ever, only her expression looked really hurt. She went straight to Zhuang Huo. Zhuang Huo, I couldn't reach you all day. I tried calling you so many times and couldn't get through. I just found out you blocked me at some point. I already know about everything that happened. I don't want you to hide and face this all alone. Tell me, I'll go through this with you. I'll stay by your side. These super warm words from Zhen Taoyan made the whole class really moved. But Zhuang Huo just lowered his head in a panic. He sobbed that Zhen Taoyan had been ignoring him lately, then held his head and said he had a headache, and tried to run out of the classroom. But all the classmates thought he was wronged, but didn't want to expose my evil deeds. They all stood up to back Zhuang Huo up and demand justice from me, ordering me to apologize to him. Meanwhile, Zhuang Huo took advantage of the chaos and ran away. Soon after, the academic competition final took place as scheduled. The exam venue was set in the school's multifunction lecture hall. When everyone saw me walk into the venue, they all showed looks of contempt, whispering that I should quit as soon as possible. This is the competition final, not some selection for underachievers. Ruan Meng, get out right now. Yeah, what is she even doing here? All of us are here for the guaranteed admission spot. She barely passed the preliminary round. Why is she here wasting time? Don't hold us up. I'm definitely voting for Zhuang Huo to get first place. He's the only real top student in my eyes. Wait, where is Zhuang Huo anyway? Why isn't he here? Did he forget the time because he was doing practice problems in the dorm? Does anyone here share a dorm with him? Can someone go check on him? Hey everyone, look. Is that Zhuang Huo being carried? Over by two boys. I remember seeing him wear this outfit before. He even showed it off to us back then, saying Zhen Taoyan bought it for him. This whole set cost almost 50,000 yuan. I was standing on the stage, listening to all these comments, then looked up not far away, and sure enough I saw Zhuang Huo, with his head down, looking totally listless, being forcefully dragged over by his two warm-hearted roommates. Half an hour ago, they found Zhuang Huo still sleeping under the covers in the dorm. They thought he was too tired from doing practice problems, and forgot the time, so they dragged him here ignoring his struggles, brought him to the multifunction lecture hall for the competition. Zhuang Huo kept struggling, but he was no match for the combined strength of two people, and was forcefully pushed into the exam seat. Zhuang Huo's two roommates left without worries. Zhuang Huo tried to leave with them. The second the invigilator stopped him, all eyes fell straight on him, leaving his awkward posture fully exposed. Zhuang Huo had no choice but to pick up his pen, but when facing the basic contest questions, he couldn't even bring himself to write a single word. His scratch paper was completely blank. He even got the simplest formula wrong. The students in the audience were stunned. Their whispers hit a sudden pause, then exploded all at once. Zhuang Huo's panic-stricken face was there for everyone to see. His usually clear mind went totally muddled. He even mixed up the most basic knowledge points. He gripped his pen so hard his knuckles turned white. This was nothing like his usual calm and confident. Top student campus heartthrob self. His legs gave out from under him. He squatted down on the floor, clutching his head tightly with both hands, and started wailing out loud. The discussions from the audience kept rising and falling. Phone shutter clicks came one after another. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Zhuang Huo. There was shock, disdain, curiosity, but no sympathy at all. Meanwhile, I picked up the contest paper on the desk and started writing my answers. My pen moved quickly across the paper. My train of thought was clear and smooth. Every step of my answers was neat and standard. It was so impressive that the surrounding noise died down a little. I just stared coldly at the broken Zhuang Huo squatting on the floor. At the same time, Zhen Taoyan, who was standing at the back, froze on the spot. Her gaze switched repeatedly between my smooth problem-solving process and Zhuang Huo's completely flustered state. Her face was full of shock and disbelief. She walked stiffly up to Zhuang Huo. She tried to speak and ask questions several times, but ended up saying nothing at all. Just then, Zhuang Huo suddenly shot to his feet. His hair was messy, his eyes were bloodshot. His already muddled thoughts got even worse from his intense emotional outbursts. He fixed his venomous gaze on me, like a cornered wild beast. "You think you won, Ruan Meng. You only beat me by cheating. Your scores are all stolen." Zhuang Huo's hysterical voice immediately drowned out all the surrounding discussions. Before I could say anything, he crazily pulled out his phone, connected it to the big screen projector, and showed several photos to everyone present. He yelled at the entire audience, "Look, everyone. This is proof. She used to be a terrible student. She couldn't even get simple multiple-choice questions right. Now her grades suddenly got good. She must have been cheating. Don't you forget, she's been burying her head writing stuff lately. She was definitely making cheat sheets. Not only that, she also hid all my study materials, so I couldn't memorize the key knowledge points." Everyone's eyes immediately turned to the photos on the big screen. The boy in the first photo was wearing the same clothes I usually wear. He snuck into the school's print shop with his head down. The boy in the other photo was also wearing the same clothes as in the previous photo. This time he went into Zhuang Huo's dorm. When he came out, he was holding a stack of materials. Ruan Meng knows everything about me. She knows I go through the contest question bank in the resource room every day. This is proof that she stole my question bank and hid my study materials. The students were stunned for a second and started whispering to each other. Voices of doubt popped up right away. The situation that was originally on my side started wavering again. At this moment, Zhen Taoyan frowned tightly. Her eyes looking at me were full of hesitation and confusion. I stayed completely calm and walked towards Zhuang Huo with a smile. I stood next to him and spoke to all the students and judges present. "Look carefully, everyone. This photo has a timestamp on it. It's 3 p.m. last Wednesday. That very afternoon, I was in the homeroom teacher's office signing a late leave slip. I'd taken a day off the previous day with a fever, so I didn't sign it on time. My homeroom teacher's in the office building right now. We can call him over to confirm any time. Besides, I've never been to either of these two places. I suspect these photos are photoshopped." "Nonsense, you just can't prove you're innocent." "So you say they're photoshopped. I could even say these are AI generated. So you're admitting these photos are AI generated by you. Stop slandering me. Since there's no conclusion on this matter yet, then let's leave this to the police. I'm calling the cops right now. Ask their professional forensics team to help me verify if these photos are doctored or not." I didn't say another word and just pulled out my phone to call the police. Zhuang Huo tried to run away, but was stopped by student council members keeping order on site. The cops arrived really fast and brought the forensics team to check on site. All the photos provided by Zhuang Huo. "Captain, these photos are definitely edited. None of them are real. Classmate Ruan Meng. How do you want to handle this case? I don't accept mediation. Deal with Zhuang Huo according to the law. He publicly damaged my reputation after all. There's no way I'll let that slide." Zhuang Huo's eyes widened in horror when he saw how determined I looked. He knew begging me would be useless, so he turned his eyes to Zhen Taoyan, lunged over and grabbed her arm, begging her desperately to save him. "Zhen Taoyan, you said you'd love me forever, right? How can you just stand by and watch me get bullied? Save me, hurry! Don't you want us to get recommended to a top university together? My life can't have such a stain on it. Your Zhen family has tons of resources. Go talk to them, quick. Let me off the hook this time, please. Everything has a price. You will be detained and fined. There's no way out of this." Zhen Taoyan looked really awkward. and pulled her hand away from Zhuanghuo in disgust. She just watched him get taken away by police for investigation. Before Zhuanghuo got into the police car, he even threw harsh words at me, saying he would never let me go. After that, the competition final continued as planned. Teacher Wei picked up the microphone and announced in a serious tone, "As you all can see, student Zhuanghuo maliciously forged evidence to defame others. His behavior is extremely bad and does not meet the basic rules of the competition. We now officially disqualify him from the competition. If you ask me, Ruan Meng is the one who truly deserves the win. Zhuanghuo wanted to take first place." That's a total joke. I always knew Ruan Meng was awesome. She's definitely gonna get first place. I'm rooting for her. The competition final ended smoothly. I took first place and successfully got the recommendation spot for a famous university. The news that Zhuanghuo was disqualified caused a huge stir in the school and became the top gossip topic for everyone. Zhuanghuo's reputation was completely ruined. After he was released, everywhere he went he could feel people's disdainful stares and whispers around him. All the followers that used to hang around him all stayed away from him one after another. But I knew he wouldn't give up just like that. Now I'm in stark contrast to Zhuanghuo. I have completely become the center of attention in the school. All the teachers in the school praise me non-stop. Many classmates take the initiative to discuss study problems with me. Even some upperclassmen gave me rare competition question banks. One day I finished school as usual. Just as I walked out of the teaching building, Jen Taoyan stopped me. She appeared in front of me wearing a clean white dress, with obvious exhaustion and guilt on her face, looking at me with complicated eyes. "Ruan Meng, I'm sorry I had some misunderstandings about you before, don't worry. I have nothing to do with Zhuanghuo anymore now. Jen Taoyan, whether you are related to him or not, that's a matter between you two. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not curious at all. You took his side before and helped him fuel his arrogance. I remember all that very clearly. Don't worry. I've taken all of that to heart." After saying that, I turned to leave, but Jin Taoyan's yell came from behind me. "Ruan Meng, I have a crush on you. Can I pursue you later?" Before I could answer, a sharp voice suddenly came from the distance, and right after, Zhuanghuo sprinted at full speed and arrived in front of Jin Taoyan and me, looking at Jin Taoyan with red eyes, begging her not to break up with him. But Jin Taoyan now extremely despises the useless Zhuanghuo. I didn't want to get tangled up in this. While they were confronting each other, I turned around and left. But I hadn't walked very far when I saw Zhuanghuo run past me crying, heading towards the dormitory. I didn't pay much attention to it and walked towards the dorm at a normal speed. What I didn't expect was, just as I walked to the bottom of the dorm building, a basin of dirty water fell from the sky and splashed right on me without missing. My clothes were completely soaked through. The dirty water ran down my hair and dripped onto the floor. A chill spread all over my body instantly. At that moment, Zhuanghuo was leaning against the dorm window, with a vicious grin on his face. He deliberately raised his voice, so that all nearby passing students could hear him clearly. He apologized to me in a super fake way. "Ruan Meng, I'm so sorry. I slipped my hand by accident and knocked over the bucket. But it's no big deal. You get good grades now. Even if you're all messy, it won't affect your study. Unlike me, my brain's gotten all slow. I can't learn anything no matter what I do. No one likes me anymore. Everything I do is wrong now." His tone was full of sarcasm. He deliberately put on a wronged look, trying to make it seem like I use my good grades to bully him on purpose. A few passing students nearby heard what he said, stopped out of curiosity, waiting to see how I'd handle this. I let out a cold snort, wiped the water off my face, and looked up at Zhuanghuo. "Slipped your hand. Dare you come down and confront me? Don't you forget the security camera outside the dorm is pointing right at where you're standing. The footage of you pushing the bucket is clearly recorded. Stop framing an innocent person. That camera's been broken for ages. Who knows if you stood there on purpose to frame me? Whether the camera's broken or not isn't up to you to decide. We can go to the security room to check the footage right now, in front of everyone here. We'll see if you really slipped your hand." Zhuanghuo panicked completely. When he pushed the bucket just now, he didn't even think about the security camera. Now that I called him out in public, he couldn't think of a retort for a moment. He could only grip the railing tightly. His eyes were full of panic and fear. Right at this moment, the The security uncle walked over quickly with a tablet. With a serious look on his face, he walked up to me, looked up at Zhuanghua upstairs, and said in a loud voice, "Hey, you student upstairs? We just checked the security footage and saw you deliberately push the bucket to splash others. The whole thing is fully recorded. This is a very dangerous act. Come down right now and come with me to the security room for investigation." With that, the security uncle held up the tablet. The screen clearly showed Zhuanghua deliberately pushing the bucket down. Zhuanghua, standing by the window, went weak all over. His face was as pale as paper. He looked at the contemptuous looks from the surrounding students and knew he'd lost again. But the resentment in his eyes grew even stronger. He secretly swore to make me pay for this. I watched Zhuanghua being taken away by the security uncle and felt no pity at all. Then I turned around and went into the dorm and changed into clean clothes. Zhuanghua suffered repeated setbacks. He started studying the system like crazy and finally forced the system to pop up a new prompt. Host's grades keep dropping. Insufficient energy. Need to find a new energy provider. Make him drink the special energy 8 treasure porridge. And you can take away his learning talent and grades. To restore your own status. Great, the system still works. I'm still saved. The most important thing right now is to find a new suitable target. So Zhuanghua set his sights on the boy, who ranked second in the competition. And that boy happens to be my roommate. Jiang Bei, I've had something on my mind for a long time. I don't know if I should say it. My roommate Jiang Bei is a very simple boy. He's introverted and has very few friends at school. Zhuanghua took exactly this point as his breakthrough point to target him. Jiang Bei had no guard up at all at this moment. He nodded at Zhuanghua, gesturing for him to go on. Actually, you don't know. I noticed you the first day of school. Your grades are so good. It's hard not to notice you. I wanted to be friends with you back then. But Ruan Mengxian came to find me, wanting to be friends with me, so I missed the chance to get close to you and become good friends. Now I'm getting all this bad reputation. You won't judge me by grades like others do and look down on me, right? Of course not, I'm not that kind of person. Even though I joined the competition, I don't want to stand out at all. My upper bunk roommate signed me up for it. I can tell you're a really honest guy. I want to be friends with you now. Is it still too late? Jiang Bei smiled and nodded in agreement. Zhuanghua saw he'd successfully broached the subject. He hid the smugness and excitement in his eyes and kept leading Jiang Bei on per his plan. Then he let out a heavy sigh, which made Jiang Bei ask him what was wrong. I didn't actually want to talk about it. After all, everyone knows by now, Ruan Meng and I had a falling out over a small misunderstanding. But I want to fix things between us, and it just so happens you're her roommate. I didn't really want to bring this up to you before. Are you asking me for a favor? Spit it out as long as it's not too much. You're so sharp, Jiang Bei. It's true I want to be friends with you, and it's also true I need your help. Zhuanghua suddenly pulled 2 cans of 8 treasure porridge out of his pocket. Jiang Bei asked what that was for. Zhuanghua deliberately put on a shy look. This is Ruan Meng's favorite 8 treasure porridge. Back when we were on good terms, I bought this for her all the time. Everyone in our class saw that with their own eyes. I saw this porridge the other day and immediately thought of her, so I grabbed a couple cans on a whim. Can you help me give 1 can to her? As for the other one, it's a thank you for helping me out. Give it a try. Jiang Bei didn't say anything. He just gave Zhuanghua a couple extra looks. Zhuanghua quickly added another line. Aren't we friends now? I just want you to use the porridge to get closer with your roommate. You live together after all. Just tell her you wanted to give it to her. Don't mention me at all. If she knows I bought it, she definitely won't take it. Jiang Bei had no idea what was really up with the porridge. Plus, he's a total softie. Seeing Zhuanghua beg him so earnestly, he agreed. Zhuanghua's plan was already half successful. He almost couldn't hide the smug look in his eyes. He made some small talk with Jiang Bei for a bit after that, then made an excuse and left. Hey, Jiang Bei. I passed the laundry room just now and saw a piece of clothing hanging there. It looks just like the one you lost a while back. It just got washed. It's still soaking wet, so I didn't touch it. Go check it out quick. See if it's actually the one you lost. Jiang Bei was stunned for a second. He thanked me, then got up and headed for the laundry room. A few minutes later, he walked back into the dorm, frowning slightly. It was obvious he didn't find the clothes I mentioned. I said I must have seen wrong because my eyes were playing tricks on me. He didn't say anything else about it. He glanced at the 8 treasure porridge on his desk, then handed one of the cans to me. What's this? It's for you, from me. I didn't say a word, and didn't reach out to take the can either. I just stared at Jiangbei for a bit. He caved and confessed under my gaze. Is the other can of 8 treasure porridge on your desk from him too? Yeah, I haven't opened it yet. I heard you really like this stuff. You can have this one too. No thanks, Jiangbei. I suggest you check the production date on it first. Zhuanghua is super cheap. He only buys stuff that's almost expired. And after he buys it, who knows how long? He keeps it at his place before giving it to me. I used to drink it just because we were friends. But every time I drank it, I got diarrhea. I suffered so much because of it. As soon as Jiangbei heard that, he rushed to check the 2 cans in his hand. Turns out they've already been expired for several days. He had no idea. I actually swapped them out secretly. While he was at the laundry room, Jiangbei, thanks for telling me the truth. You're too naive. It's super easy for bad people to take advantage of you. I'll leave it at that. I won't say more. And Jiangbei looked like he fully understood. The next night, Zhuanghua dragged me into the woods furiously. I already guessed it was because Jiangbei refused to talk to him anymore. Ruanmeng, you messed with my plans behind my back again, didn't you? You keep ruining my plans over and over again. You're so freaking evil. If we're talking about evil, I'm not even 10,000th as evil as you, Zhuanghua. Stop acting. I already know about your system. Let's just cut the crap and talk straight. When did you find out the secret of the system? Why the hell did I end up like this? You brought this on yourself. Ever since you decided to target me, you should have known you'd end up like this. No, I won't accept this. I was just about to get with Gentalian. We're gonna get recommended to a top university together. Why did this mess even happen? Clearly, I was this close to taking first place in the competition. I could get accepted by a famous university, via special admission, and hit the peak of my life, ruin Meng. Why did you suddenly ruin all of this? You did this on purpose to mess with me, right? You just want to take everything I have. All away from me, huh? You're just jealous of me. I never wanted to take anything from you. None of this was ever yours to begin with. You're completely out of your mind right now. When Zhuanghua heard what I said, he suddenly let out a creepy laugh. You're right. I am crazy. No matter what, what's done is done. I've been pushed to this point. I've lost absolutely everything I had. Remember that river on campus? A few people accidentally fall in and die every year. Runmeng, if I throw you in tonight, how long do you think it'll take for the current to carry your body away? As soon as he finished speaking, a few young thugs showed up behind him with brightly dyed hair and all kinds of colors. They started moving towards me. Zhuanghuo's eyes were practically blazing with rage. I smiled and held up my phone. The screen showed a call was in progress, and the number on the line was 110. Luckily for me, the cops arrived just in time. Zhuanghuo and his crew got their shiny silver handcuffs. I heard later during his interrogation, he kept rambling about something called a system, so he was sent for a psychiatric evaluation. Right after that, he was sent to a mental hospital. Not long after, news came from the mental hospital that when Zhuanghuo was lucid, he kept yelling to see me. The next morning, I took a cab to the mental hospital. I went there specifically to see Zhuanghuo's miserable state with my own eyes. The visiting area of the mental hospital was eerily quiet. The sharp smell of disinfectant stung my nose. I just sat down on the chair when Zhuanghuo across from me suddenly lifted his head. He was wearing a crumpled blue and white hospital gown. His messy hair stuck to his forehead. When he saw me walk in, he got really agitated. He stumbled over and slammed himself against the glass, pressing his palms hard against the cold glass. His knuckles turning white. He kept yelling my name over and over, his voice hoarse but full of desperation, like he was grabbing onto his last lifeline. I just stared at him quietly. Didn't say a single word. When Zhuanghuo saw I wasn't reacting, his eyes turned red with panic, his forehead almost pressed against the glass. The pleading in his voice got even more obvious. Ruanmeng, I know I was wrong. I really know I messed up. I was being an idiot back then. I lost my damn mind. I shouldn't have stolen your test scores. I shouldn't have tried to hurt you. Can you please forgive me? Zhuanghuo's voice was cracking with tears. He had none of the arrogance he used to have back at school. He looked like a kid on the edge of breaking down. Do me a favor. Go find Zentalian, okay? Go talk to her for me. Tell her I know I was wrong. I'll never ask for a recommendation spot again. I don't care about any of that fake glory anymore. I just want her to get me out of here. Her family is rich and powerful. She definitely has a way to help me. She likes you so much. She always listened to everything you said back then. Go beg her. She'll definitely say yes. I don't want to stay here. This place is hell. They make me take pills every single day. And there are all these weird people around. I'm gonna go crazy, Ruan Meng. I'm begging you. Save me, for the sake of us being friends before. Friends? Zhuanghua, when did you ever treat me like a friend? From the moment you bound me with that system and stole my scores using 8 treasure porridge. From when you talked other students into isolating me and watched me go from a top student to a failing one. Or from when you hired people to hurt me in your past life. My words were like a sharp knife, cutting right through his fake apology. He stumbled back a step, staring daggers at me. His already hoarse voice suddenly rose sharply, coming out as a hysterical scream. It's you! This is all your fault! The reason I'm like this now is all because of you, Ruan Meng. Everything is your fault. If you hadn't been so ungrateful and refused to drink the 8 treasure porridge I gave you, my system would never have stopped working. How would I have gone from everyone's favorite top student to the mess I am now if you hadn't always been better than me at everything and kept going against me? Why would I ever target you? Zhuanghua got more and more agitated as he spoke, his chest heaving violently. He looked completely deranged. And Zhen Taoyan, if you hadn't put on an act in front of her and deliberately showed off, how would she have seen through me? How would she have abandoned me completely? You destroyed everything I had. You ruined my future. You turned me into a lunatic. You're a walking disaster. You bring nothing but bad luck to me. He slammed himself against the glass again, banging his forehead hard against it, making a dull thud. He didn't even seem to feel the pain. He just cursed with bloodshot eyes. I could have had everything. A degree from a top university. A bright, promising future. And Zhen Taoyan. All of this was supposed to be mine. You took everything from me. I hate you. Ruan Meng, I hate you. If it weren't for you, how would I end up like this? Even if I die, I will never let you off the hook. Everything you lost wasn't because of me. It was because of your own greed, your hypocrisy, your willingness to do anything to get what you want. You destroyed yourself with your own hands. No one else is to blame. But even now, you still refuse to repent. I have nothing more to say to you. Don't send anyone to pass messages to me ever again. Zhen Taoyan won't come to save you. Because he saw through you a long time ago, my words were like the final straw that broke his last bit of sanity. He started banging the glass like crazy, screaming and cursing at the top of his lungs. His voice was full of despair and venom, until the nurses who heard the noise rushed over and pinned him down tightly. He struggled violently, kicking his arms and legs wildly. His eyes were still fixed on me fiercely, like a knife dipped in poison. He kept shouting over and over, Ruan Meng, I won't let you get away with this. I'll kill you. The nurses dragged him away with great effort. His screams gradually faded away. The visiting area fell silent again. His handprints from banging were still on the glass. Then I turned around and left. I walked out of the psychiatric hospital. Sunlight fell on my body, warm and dazzling. Next to the bus stop in the distance, a homeless man was sitting in the shade. The second he saw me, he grinned right away, showing his simple, honest smile. He was still holding the bread I gave him last time. Compared to before, he's doing a lot better now. At least he doesn't drool anymore. After that day, I moved out of this city right away and started a new life without any disturbances. I never saw Zhuanghua again.